Have a scaredy, merry Christmas. Hi everyone, I'm Jacob, I'm the Cowhat Librarian, and I've been waiting for this one. It's the incredibly talented Mélanie Watt's newest in her Scaredy's Nutty Adventure series, Scaredy Squirrel Gets Festive. A brand new one in the Nutty Adventures graphic novel series, and I've been looking forward to this one for a while. I placed my hold on it a few months back when the first on-order records went into my local library's catalog, and I've been waiting for this whole to come in. So, as the story starts, Scaredy is preparing for Christmas. Now, I should note, it's not clear whether this book references Scaredy's tips for getting ready to Christmas in the previous Scaredy Squirrel Christmas book, but that would have been a little bit of an aside, and that particular one took a bit to read anyway. Scaredy's getting ready for Christmas, and he starts planning in July because there's lots to be done, and he has a list. So, when December comes around, he can start working on his list, and get some help from his friend Ivy from the previous Nutty Adventure books. And I think Scaredy sets a new record for time to play dead, because he plays dead about 3 pages into the book, which was a lot of fun. Although it does rely on readers knowing that Scaredy is playing dead when his feet are up in the air like this. As the story goes, they start planning and decorating for Christmas, and they get help from their friends, from Tim and Rash. In the course of things, Scaredy's decorations get ruined, and Rash comes out with his super duper decoration bin, but it's full of stuff for Halloween, not really appropriate for Christmas. So Scaredy has to improvise and make new decorations with his friends, because his decorations have to meet a particular shade of red and green from his paint sample chips, and cannot be particular sources of red and green, including chili peppers and Martians. And so he and his friends work on decorating. They paint some old ping pong balls to hang up. They bake an inedible gingerbread house to serve as a decoration, and in general work together and get ready for Christmas. It's a lot of fun. And kids who've helped their parents with one or another Christmas preparation are going to enjoy this. It's really funny watching Scaredy's friends ask Scaredy for gift ideas for himself without him knowing that that's what he's answering. It's fun watching him talk about wrapping presents or making these ridiculously over-the-top plans that'll be familiar for any one of us who either has as a relative or is one of those people with over-the-top Christmas plans that inevitably go awry. For anyone who either is or has a family member who is the type of person who plans elaborate Christmas plans and then has one or two things inevitably go awry, you're going to find a lot to like here. And the kids you read it to will probably find some similar behaviors, whether it's fixating on particular colors or making decorations that they think you should be able to eat but that you want for decoration, or any number of other things. It was a lot of fun. The Nutty Adventure series is interesting because Scaredy gets to speak, and in this one he has a lot to say. The first one or two Nutty Adventure graphic novels, it felt like Watt was still rationing when Scaredy would get to talk. It was more than in the standard Scaredy Squirrel books, but was still a fairly small amount. It was very, very odd to see speech bubbles coming from him and having him talk for himself. This one, he's just babbling all over the place. Scaredy Squirrel will not be quiet. The art style is just more of Mélanie Watt's standard quality work. I love that she does the white outlines around the characters just to really, really set them off from the backdrop and almost give it the feeling of being almost like stick puppets on top of a background. The feeling that they're a little bit disconnected from the background, that they could just spring over to the side in front of the background objects. And to me, it feels really, really dynamic. I like that Scaredy feels a little smaller, a little more agile than in the traditional Scaredy Squirrel books. And the personality just shines right off the page. Scaredy and his friends have charisma. They're delightful. We could recognize ourselves or our friends in a lot of these characters. The hyperactive one who's just go, go, go. The one who's the little bit of a curmudgeon, always ready to nitpick or find the flaws in an otherwise good idea. And it's good. But it's not perfect. There's spoilers ahead because I have to talk about the deal breaker. The deal breaker is simply this. It's still a high quality book. It's still a fun graphic novel. I like the story. I like the artwork. I think Mélanie Watt is incredibly talented. It's just, it didn't feel special. I'd hoped for more from Scaredy Squirrel's first graphic novel, Christmas Story. I thought it would have been hilarious to have Scaredy Squirrel play dead in response to Santa's visit in some way. I thought that would have been hilarious. Instead, we had the fake out on page 3 where he briefly played dead when he was surprised by his friend Ivy showing up. And then when one of his friend's pet frogs jumps out of the stocking and startles him, Scaredy Squirrel panics and plays dead. 2 hours later, Mélanie Watt jumped over the build-up. One of the things that's so fun in the Scaredy Squirrel books, that he falls over and plays dead. And that time counts on. 30 minutes later, 1 hour later, 17 hours later. It's a fun build-up. It lets Watt show that time is passing, and she skipped all of it. For readers who are familiar with Scaredy's antics, it just feels like it was rushed. And like I said about another Christmas book this year, Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Sleigh, I would have liked to see some interaction between Scaredy and Santa. I absolutely loved the drawing of Scaredy as Santa Claus. That was a fun surprise. But I would have liked to see something with Santa actually delivering, something with Scaredy's plan for it going wrong, and instead of it all being focused on the preparation for the day. That's all. This is nitpicking. If the other Scaredy Squirrel's Nutty Adventures are A+ books or A books, this one's probably a B or a B-. It's still a very good book. I definitely recommend it, especially if you're a Scaredy Squirrel fan. It's not quite as great as a couple of the others. Still, go borrow it from your public library this holiday season. While I'm on that topic, if you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library, why not take just 1 minute and tell the powers that be exactly that? Tell your mayor, tell a council member, tell your MP or MLA that you use and appreciate the services offered by your local public library. We're at a time where some public libraries are having trouble finding sustainable funding to continue improving the materials, programs, and services they offer. And a few good words in the right ears might make a world of difference. If by some chance you're a library staff member, don't forget, watching my videos counts as professional development time. With that, thanks for listening to me talk at length about Scaredy Squirrel and his festive adventures. By all means, please like, please subscribe, and please check back and see what else I have to talk about from the Cowhat Library. Thank you. Bye now.